Inspiration behind the title comes, of course, from this narrative that I described of the piano part evolving from kind of stumbling and awkwardness to very fluent, graceful polyphonic playing. And the inspiration for that, behind that, has to do with observing my now 2.5-year-old toddler learning to become human. I started working on the piece a year ago when he was just learning how to walk, or experimenting with walking, and just sort of watching that process, not only with walking, but taking any two objects and putting this there. And I wanted to incorporate some of that kind of innocent experimentation into the working process of the piece, and I wanted to kind of capture the joy of learning to become human. My experience as an electric guitarist influences all my music, even the works that don't include electric guitar. At one level, it's got an influence that I can't really even speak about because it's subconscious. I mean, I have a physical connection to a body of music such as rock, blues, and jazz and fusion from cutting my teeth on music like Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin and Al Di Meola from Chick Corea's band, and so learning to play through that music gives me a kind of physical instinct for how lines and continuity work that I wouldn't have if I grew up playing the piano. I can't articulate in any specific way how that influence works because it's so microscopic. It's like a powder sprinkled over everything. But there are some specific conscious ways that I know that I've kind of tried to emulate the guitar in my works, particularly orchestral works in this concerto, that don't include the guitar. So one kind of interesting example is in phase 2 of Stumble to Grace. There's a melody that repeats over and over again, and it's got a simple harmony that is attached to it, and I didn't want the melody to develop in a kind of traditional classical way, and I didn't want to reharmonize it, but I wanted to keep it alive, and I wanted it to evolve sonically. So I've been experimenting with some harmonics on the electric guitar that are multiphonics and not at the usual nodes of the electric guitar. I started out improvising with them and then started using them as a guitarist. This is maybe the first time that I've tried to export them to another context. So I took some of these harmonics and attached them to the notes of this little chorale that I was talking about, and it ends up sounding like not like the syntax of the harmony isn't being affected, but rather the hue of the harmony. It's as if the orchestra gradually fades in a distortion pedal. And I think there's a lot of things in Stumble to Grace that are evolved sonically in a way that it is inspired by my familiarity with guitar effects.